Hello, good morning, happy afternoon, happy Friday. Still trying to figure out good ways for me to turn off the music and transition to the actual stream. Like I turn it off, and then like for some reason, even though I see the mute button on there, like oh, I really want to click that to really make sure it's off, even though it's already off. Then of course it like turns on for a second, which is not necessarily the experience I want to have. I think the real thing would be to like go and actually find YouTube safe music and put that on there and then use that for the loading screen. But all right, let's see. We left off this morning with we just recorded the video for migrations, which means it's time for seeds. So let's go ahead and review the seeds and sort of see how we feel about it. I think it's gonna be pretty simple. We're gonna create the two games, no, three games, two platforms, and then the connections for the two games and two platforms together. In the join table, we're gonna create an application. We put it in a workspace, and let's see what else, and run them. Make sure it runs. And I think that's pretty much it. And try not to be too negative about the fact that there's no seating system inside of Rust, which is also its own thing and its own discussion. And yeah, that's the thing. So let's go ahead and quit out of here. Now I created one. Okay, so you have seeds and errors. That's not what I want. So which one do I want here? TGC is the one that has seeds. Oh, and A28 is the one that has migrations. That's the one I care about. All right, well, my tea is still too hot to drink, so I'll just leave it somewhere over here. So let's see. Migrations. Okay, so we're gonna just create a seeds. And then, oh yeah, I need to look up how to run specific things, which I think is, okay, so if I create a new application in here, so if I just do cargo new testing, we then go to cargo.toml. I don't even need the dependencies in there because I'm just going to go into testing. We're going to change this from hello world to hello testing. And I want to try in the root of the project. Although I guess we could just go into the right. So if I just go into testing, I can do cargo run here, right? Yes, that does do that. Okay. And if I come out to here and I do cargo run some like package testing. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Oh, and then where's the root gonna be? So more testing here. If I create a new file here and we just do test SQL. And we say maybe this is going to be like an insert. Insert into games name values name. Now I want to try to run this from inside of this main here. So I'm just curious about. Okay, I also have this .env in the root. Where is that? Is that the root of? Ah, so this .env is out here, which makes sense. Okay. Now, do I get access to that? Where do I have to put you? So we have Tokyo, we have error. We have sqlx. And .env. And I did that inside of testing, right? So you're all in here, this cargo to Tomo. So if can I load up that .env? Is that the one that's going to load up? So if I just cargo run inside of here, now what if I cargo? Okay, so that so far that's fine. Now can I get? That's I guess the real first test. That's not what I wanted to. A28. So if I run, ooh, that's okay. And if I cd into testing and I cargo run, okay, okay. And then we have that test.sql. And so I want to do a sqlx query file. And we're going to pass it test.sql. Oh, do I have to have I have to have a connector just for it to work, don't I? Like fetch. Yeah. Wait, min connections with two things? What's different? Oh, new, and then I can do min connections 5 connect database URL wait unwrap now So can I run that? We're going to execute pool right. I can't do async await stuff in here yet. Okay, so it likes it. So I guess, wait, it doesn't like it. Oh, it's async, not await. Where did I get await from? Okay, now you're upset. No such file or directory. Okay, so I think it's testing the local SQL file, which makes sense, and that's probably what we want. So if I move this into testing here, move you, hit resave. Error return from database relation games does not exist. Oh, because we didn't, right, we undid, we stopped the migrations. So if I migrate again, we create those. Error return from database column name does not exist. Wait, really? What do you mean name doesn't exist? Doesn't games have a name? Oh, that's like impossible. Yeah, there's a name right there. Character variant games. Yeah. Okay. You should be fine. Let's actually run this, see what happens. So if I run cargo run, oh, okay. Error return from database column name does not exist. What did I do wrong? Insert into games. Column name, values, name. Okay. Do I need to? No, because even when I run it, it doesn't do what I expect it to do. So it's not a Rust analyzer thing. So insert into games. Our .env. Do you need to be in here as well? No, that's not it. Still, column name does not exist. Okay, so hold on. Yeah, we have a game ID and we have a name in games. Name is a varchar, so it should be. Oh. Double quote. I used the wrong type of string. That's it. That's it. Dottie, hello. How are you doing today? It's the problem of all the different languages working together. Oh right, I don't need, so I can delete that .env. I don't need you. And you should just still work. So if we come back to here, package testing, we get the hello testing, but more importantly, in the database, we get some games. Specifically, we get that game. Let's actually revert our changes. Let's do a so is there a revert all? Because I could swear there was a revert all. Or maybe it's like a reset. Not really. And sqlx. We have source dry run, ignore missing, database URL, connect timeout, DB wall for SQLite, target version. Set to 0 to revert all migrations. Ah, okay, so we can do target version equals 0. There we go. Okay. There we go. So we should be completely reset now. And I thought that there was like, I could swear that there was a reset, but like I don't see it anymore. I almost feel like I somehow got a different version of cargo of sqlx, but I don't know what happened. It just feels weird to me. All right. Okay, so that's all good. Time for us to reset all this fun stuff. That's too big. We're connecting to the database here. We can. There's nothing in you. That's great. You're simple. Okay, that's good. Let's undo until. We have a print line. In fact, I want to just remove testing altogether. Move to trash. Okay, so migrations is there. That's fine. That source is fine. Dat.env is fine. And we're going to remove this workspace there. Close you all. And I think now we're good to go. Okay. I think that's it. So that being said, let's see. Y seeds, like what are seeds? Y seeds. Create the seed project. So create the seed project within a workspace. Wire it up, connect to the database. Probably then like create the library with the transactions and sort of like prepare for everything and do all that stuff. And then write the files and then write the files and then run them. I think that's going to be it. And then let's switch over. We're going to where's my timers? Enable the recording video timer. We're good to go there. And I think that's going to be it. All right, everybody, we're going to go in. We're going to start recording for this. The recording is going to be for creating seeds in a database using sqlx. Unfortunately, there is no official seeding system with sqlx. The recommendation is to use migrations, which to that I say no. So instead, the course is going to go a different route and say write a project that does it for you. So that's what we're going to do. So with that, we're going to get type. We're going to get type safety with the files, but it's going to be a little bit not fun. So, all right, here we go. Take one, and we'll see how this does. Hello, for this lesson, we're going to be going over sqlx seeds, or rather seeding the database. Now it's important for us to be able to set up some initial values in our database for testing purposes, and sometimes to have default values in there when we have a new developer come in. We want to have something in there because just manually adding data through a GUI or some other system is really tedious. And then it can also be, it's helpful to have everybody have exactly the same data, at least as a starting point. So that way you can test features, test like problems. If you run into a bug later because of some weird data, you can add that to the seeds to make sure your automated tests can handle whatever that data is. Now, sqlx doesn't have an automated sort of testing side to the CLI. There's only just the migrations. So unfortunately, the only way we could do seeds with the CLI is to actually put it in the migrations themselves. Now, I don't really agree with that because I really like the idea of being able to have multiple seeds. Like, what if we want a seeds for local development? What if we want like a sort of a different set of seeds for testing? And then we can even have seeds for production. Maybe like the original first time we set something up, or maybe you set up a new server every time you get a new client, and they get their own infrastructure and everything. You want them to have some basic setups. If we're thinking about our games, this might be something like we don't add in the games, but maybe we add in the top 10 platforms, something that they can choose from. So that's what seeds are. Let's go ahead and create a system for this. So because there's no like official way for us to do that from sqlx, we're going to create our own way. And in this case, we're going to create a project. So here you are in the same project that we created the migrations in. We're going to create seeds right along next to it. And if we want like different seeds for production and dev and testing, we could just have these as completely separate projects essentially. And then you just choose which one to run based upon which environment you're in. Let's go ahead and in the root here, I'm going to do a cargo new seeds. In this project, we're only going to have a single seeds. That creates a new project seeds here. Before we can actually start using it, we're going to have to go into our cargo.toml. And we are going to have to add in a workspace for this. So workspace, members, and the only members for this is seeds. I don't have any dependencies I need to run from this, so we're going to be fine. We can then head into seeds and start writing what we need to. Although, you know what? We need some packages to like do anything async or anything else like that. So let's go ahead and open up our terminal. Now, when we're adding in any packages, any crates to be used by seeds, we have to cd into the seeds directory. So that way it gets added to the cargo.toml under seeds as opposed to the root cargo.toml. So let's see, there's going to be a cargo add. Well, we know we need Tokyo. So we'll bring in Tokyos with macros and RT multi-thread. We know we need, so let's see, we need Tokyo, we need sqlx. So let's bring in sqlx with Postgres and the Tokyo runtime. Let's see, what else do we need? We need, let's see, Tokyo. Oh, we need .env to get that .env file. So cargo add .env. And then finally, an error handling library. I'm going to use error. So cargo add error. I think that's everything we need for this. So first off, let's go ahead and make main an async function. It's going to be Tokyo main. And this is going to be an async function. Let's get rid of that print line. And then we want to connect to, well, actually, first we want the database URL. So this .env in the root of the project has that database URL inside of it. And this is, surprisingly enough, or maybe not surprising, inside of here, we get access that .env. So at least it's gonna look for it and it's gonna find it there. So we can just do .env. We're going to expect error loading .env. And then we want to load the database URI. So database URI equals, we're going to use a standard v var database URI URL and expect missing environment variable database URL. Okay, that gives us that. We can now connect to the database and create the pool. So that our pool equals PGP pool options. I want to create a new. We'll go ahead and set our. Why are you not giving me any help here? What are you upset about? Unexpected token closing bracket. Is it you? Is it because I didn't complete this? Yeah, okay. So that pool equals PGP pool options. I want to create, so it's sqlx Postgres PGP pool options. That should be fine, right? New, I want minimum connections. We should be able to connect from here. Hand it reference to the database URI. We await and we expect error connecting to database. See, I mean, it seems to be okay. Oh, but we're not getting any type help here, are we? Oh, you know what? No, it's no, like this should show. Okay, seeds are in there. That should be happy. We were getting help earlier. So what's going on with this? You're getting this pool. Let's actually just run this. See if we get any help from the terminal. So to run the seeds, I can either be CD'd into seeds and then run it, or I can CD out of seeds and I can do a cargo run dash package, and then the name of the package, which just in this case is seeds. Okay, that shows that it's okay, and that we have a pool. Okay, so everything's fine. It's just that Rust Analyzer is having a little bit of trouble. Let's go ahead and restart Rust Analyzer, and maybe that'll be a little bit easier. Okay, so we have our pool. Next up, we want, I like to run everything inside of a library, even if it's something simple like this. There we go. Now we're getting our type hinting. Let's go ahead and source. I'm going to create a live.rs. And I'm going to create a run function. So we're going to have a pub async run. We know we're going to take in that pool. So pool is going to be the pool. Again, pub. Oh, I forgot the FN. Kind of important to tell Rust Analyzer what this is. Okay, now maybe you'll be able to help me with this. Yeah, let's import a pool. And the pool is going to be a Postgres pool. We're going to return a result, which is going to be an error result. And we don't need anything in there. So that way we can use that question mark. So at the very end, we'll just have this okay. Now we can just go right away in here and call pool. We can call run. I have to actually go find what's the name of this project. This project is named Seeds. Okay, so let's find use seeds run. There it is, and then we can just call run from in here. So run. We can call that, pass it the pool. We'll await. And then we'll, let's just expect what the error running seeds. Okay, so everything should be happy here. Back in the library, we're not using this pool. What I'm thinking is that we can create our seeds in separate files, and then we can run them one at a time using the query file macro. That will get us the static checking of the queries, make sure that they're all correct before we run them, but also allow us to actually just write SQL and then have them be their own sort of separate thing. And then we can also run them all in a single transaction. But when we run them in a transaction, that means we need to create that here. So let's go ahead and do let our mutable transaction equals pool. We're going to begin here. We'll await and question mark u. We also need a flag in case there's a problem. So let mute is, like, we can just do is okay. And we'll just say true. Yeah, we're totally okay. And at the very end, we're going to just check to see, hey, if is okay is true, then we're going to end it all. So transaction, we're going to commit, await, and question mark. Otherwise, let's eprint line, and just basically we'll just say like, hey, there was a reverting seeds, just to let us know like, hey, we're not actually doing this anymore. And we'll do a transaction dot rollback. We'll await and question mark. All right, so that is our basic setup now. We have to, somewhere in between here, do the actual things, but we don't have that yet, do we? So inside of seeds, I'm going to, outside of source, I'm going to create we're going to need 3 files for this. Let's create a folder for this, and we'll just put like SQL for, like, you know, where we're going to put the SQL files. And we'll put in one, we'll have games.sql. We'll do another one for the platforms.sql, and then a final one for the game platform.sql. All right, games first. Well, we let's put in 3 games for this. So we'll have 3 games and 2 platforms to sort of show off how everything sort of can interact together, and we'll have a 2 on one platform and 1 on another, let's say. So we'll do insert into games. Now we have a game ID and we have a name. So there's really only one column we need here. That's going to be name. and we have values. And oh, everything gets its own parentheses. So, okay, first one. Well, let's just continue with the same games we've been doing. We have Starfield, and then we have, oh, I almost did this. I do this every once in a while when I'm using like too much Rust and then not using SQL enough. I forget that SQL and double quotes are not happy together. These have to be single quotes. Okay, we'll do Baldur's Gate 3. And then let's do, for the third game, let's do Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley. Okay, so that's gonna insert those. For platforms, we're gonna have insert into platforms. We want, again, we just have the platform ID and a name. So name, values. All right, so we are gonna only have 2 platforms for this. We're gonna have Steam, and I actually have Stardew Valley on my Switch, so I'm gonna put that there. Okay, so there we go with that. And then game platform. This is gonna be the most complex one. So this is gonna be a join table. It has the game ID and it has the platform ID. So if we start this, it's gonna be like any other ones. So insert into game platform, and then we want game ID, platform ID, our values. Now this is where it gets interesting because I could just say, okay, I want like game ID 1. But do we know for certain that Starfield is going to be game ID 1? Well, when we first initialize the database and we first do the inserts, they're going to run in order. So yeah, we do. We know that Starfield is going to be 1. But what happens if we like wipe the database, but we don't like drop the database? If we just go in, like delete it and say, just rerun the seeds and we'll be fine. What will happen is we'll have like 1, 2, 3, and then it'll start over again. This will be like 4, 5, and 6. So in that case, I don't know if I can like actually predict that these are going to go in, and like just dropping the database every time is kind of annoying. So we're going to use a subquery here. We're actually going to use 2 subqueries here. So we're going to say, for the first one, for game ID, we're going to select, this is going to be the game ID from, let's see, from games where the name is equal to, and then we could just come and copy paste this. Okay, so find Starfield. There should only be 1 of them because we have a unique on the name table, the name column, and get the game from it. So again, there should just be 1, and then it returns that inside of here. And then for the platform ID, we're going to do a select platform ID from platforms where name is equal to, well, we have this one on Steam. Okay, perfect. No ending comma, but we do have an ending comma on this one. So we're going to do this 2 more times. Okay, so for the next one, this is going to be the Baldur's Gate 3. Let's go find that and just copy you in. And that's also going to be on Steam. That's going to be fine. And for the last one, we'll do Stardew Valley. And we're going to put that one in the Switch. I like to use copy paste simply because there's no way I can accidentally mistype it. Although it would yell at me when we try to run this and say, hey, that doesn't exist. It has to be there. And then make sure that we end with a semicolon here. Okay, so this should insert all the data that we want into the database. Let's go ahead and go back to our code. and we're going to write in between here the queries, or basically tell it, hey, go find those queries and then run them. So let's see, we're going to use, I don't care about the return values. I just assume they're going to run, and if they run once in testing, they're going to run or they're going to error out. It's going to be one or the other. So I don't need any return results. I just need to execute it. So we're going to do a sqlx, although I do want to handle if there is an error, and if there is, then I want to set that is okay. So let's start with an if let error. For error equals, okay, this is going to be sqlx. We're going to do a query file exclamation point, and we're going to give it the path to where to find the query that we want to run. So in this case, query file, so I want this games. This one has to come first. We need games, then we need the platforms, but then we can create the joins together with it. So games. Well, that is in this SQL here. So I want /sql games.sql. And then at the end, we're going to execute. To get the executor out of the transaction, we're going to get a mutable reference to a dereference of the transaction. We're going to await, and I'm not going to question mark this or unwrap it. Instead, we're going to open bracket and handle the error right here, which means an eprint line, please, where we say error inserting, I guess like error seeding games, and we'll print the error out. And we'll make sure that our is okay is equal to false. And that's it. Okay. Now we'll move on to the next one. And we'll just do that again. So I'll just copy paste this for every single one. So it's a little bit annoying that for every single file we have to do this. I tried several different ways to like figure out, okay, how can I have like query file like auto load from a directory? And it doesn't look like it can right now because it actually checks that this is hard coded in here. Otherwise, it basically yells at you. I could use the non-query versions, but then I lose the static checking. The fact that this is not erroring out for me is telling me that that SQL is going to run. It's basically, it's good. It's going to work. So let's do it again with the next one. So this is if let error. So now we're going to do platforms. We give it that, error seeding platforms. And then one last time. And I can just multi-cursor this one, and this is going to be game platform. Okay, you should be happy now. Let's go ahead and run this. So to show that I don't have anything in the database right now, let's switch over to our database connection. I can table games and table platforms, and I can table game platform. And nothing in here. All right, so next up, let's run this. So we're gonna do a cargo run project seeds. Oh, is it project? Package seeds, that's what it is. Okay. Okay, that ran. No errors back. I probably should put something in there that says like, hey, it ran, everything is good. Although the fact that it ran without any errors is, kind of shows that it worked. If we switch back over to here, and let's just do the same thing. We're going to do table games. There's our 3 games. Table platforms. And finally, table game platform. All right. All of those things are in there. Now, the the scenario that we're thinking about is what happens if we want to just like sort of delete everything. So if we just say delete from well, we do game platform, delete from platforms, delete from games. We've emptied out the database again. We don't have anything in there, but we don't take down the table. We want to rerun our seeds, just get ourselves back to like a base state. Let's rerun this again. Everything was fine. If we come back to here, we'll do a table games. And now we show, okay, Starfield, Baldur's Gate 3, and Stardew Valley are in there, but they have 4, 5, and 6 as the game IDs. If we table the platforms, Switch, Steam and Switch are in 3 and 4, and table game platform has the appropriate IDs for us. Like it's not making assumptions that it is on 1, 2, and 3 or any other IDs. So that way we can handle this. No matter what we throw at it, it'll just work for this. And that's it. That's how we can create our own sort of seeding system using sqlx. Now, is that something that you necessarily want to use? There's plenty of other systems that can do seeds for us and other languages. And I wouldn't blame anybody if they wanted to use one of those systems simply because writing your own is not nearly as nice as using something already set up for us. But the option is here in case we do want it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope this has been helpful, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye. Hello, everybody. Hey, Vivax, you showed up right after I started, so sorry I couldn't say hi. Hello. Patrick shit. Hello, how are you doing today? I am surprised you're able to get that added in your name. I thought Twitch would like find that and root that out, but good job. Do we master one language or just based on project change that, and should we care frameworks and libraries? I think it depends on where you are in your programming journey. So I think I'll ask my follow-up question would be, what would you say, like what do you know right now? Like what would you say is are languages that you know? Is it 1? Is it 2? Which ones? If it's 2 or more, then I would say you're okay and good. If you've only ever mastered 1, then I would say adding in at least another one, maybe not full mastery, but just like enough to sort of get an appreciation for that language. And then you can pull knowledge and lessons that you've learned from it back to your primary language. It's extremely helpful getting more than one thing going. Plus, you're now protected in case you get laid off or something. You can switch over and like usually once you learn like 2 languages, learning a third is infinitely easier than learning a second. I like how my Nightbot message for that I'm recording appeared after I finished recording. That's cool. The Better Owen, hello. Vampire, hello. Demands hard-coded path. Well, that's a first. I assume the language wasn't the gatekeeper of what you could not do. So it's a macro. And I don't know how much you're familiar. I can't remember. Are you not familiar with Rust? Or you are familiar with Rust, or I don't remember what it is anymore. But macros, when we write them, they're essentially codegen. You have never done Rust. Okay, so macros are codegen, basically. So it's when you create a macro, it expands to what essentially it is. So think of it like a function that runs at a pre-compilation step that then turns into code that then the real compilation step goes over and like then compiles it into the binary. That's why I keep on saying, oh, it's going to be statically checked. Before it does a real compile, it actually checks it. And one of the things that you can do in a macro is you can say, I must have a string. Like this must be this thing. Like you can check for that. And so if I try to like add in a well, and also the other thing is because it's compiled time checked, I can't use something that's not compile time. Like if I put in a variable that's going to be done at runtime, it's too late. It's already tried to compile and check it. So I need some way to like do a variable at compile time, which I don't know if there is a way to do that. So yeah, very interesting. But I mean, I think the thing is like if you're going to use the power of sqlx, then you might as well use the power of sqlx. Otherwise, you might as well just not use this at all and go and just write a shell script that does it. Because like there's no difference then if I'm just going to not use the static checking. Oh, truncate is preferred over delete. Truncate just goes scorched earth. Not sure if it's supported in the SQL variant you use. Oh, good question. I keep on forgetting about truncate. I am fairly certain that there is a truncate. Truncate. Can I do star? That would have been great. So can I do oh, delete goes record by record. Truncate just goes eat. Oh, right. So it's faster, right? Like you'll drop. Yeah, handy with a big data set. That makes a lot of sense. I have never worked with a gigantic data set. I've also never deleted everything in the data set either. So truncate table, yeah, so I can do truncate game platform like that. Games platforms. Same thing. Now if we take a look at games, they're empty as well. Is the ID still? It doesn't reset the ID, right? Sadly, I can say that I more than once yeeted a whole table, including that realization just after you did it. Well, let's find out. So I just truncated. We can rerun our seeds again, and we'll see what happens. It does not. So it does not reset the IDs. Basically, truncate is a fast delete. That's pretty much what it is. Okay, so let me rename that video before I forget. Oh, and I should turn that timer off. We're done with that. Okay, so you are sqlx. What did I call it? The seeds? sqlx seeds. And then I forgot last time. I guess I finished right before the end, but let's turn back all the things. Actually, there's no cat. I don't have to turn that on. And I think I think we're good. So we'll get rid of all of you. I know, Meow, but there's no Zilby here today. He's probably upstairs because it got cold down here. Close all of you. We're good to go here. And you're all good. So everybody out of the pool. You're all good. Let's move sqlx migrations and seeds to uploading because that's going to be the next phase for it. And let's figure out what our next thing is going to be. So somebody had asked me about something with sqlx on YouTube, and I don't remember if it's something that I want to be part of this course or not. Let me see if I can look through my comments. Luckily, I don't get too many of them, so I can actually look through and find ones again. Okay, so I was curious there if it was possible to have a module that contains a struct that implements functions for running different queries. That doesn't. I don't think that's good to. I don't think we need to do like a full lesson on something like that. Oh, the sqlx offline system. Oh, that could be good. Oh, and someone suggested event handling in there. I asked a follow-up question because I wasn't exactly sure what they meant. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I think it's the sqlx offline stuff. That's going to be the next thing. So let's create. I don't think I created one. There is a decent description of offline mode in README. So I think it might be just like a really fast, hey, here it is, along with a video of me doing it, pretty much. You could not get it working. Well, let's see if we can get it working for ourselves. Let's just if we can't get it working, then I won't create one at all. Let's try this out. First of all, we're done with all these. Let's migrations, temp. Okay, so let's do a cargo. I probably could have done it with one of those. Now that I think about it, I already had one like stuff set up for it. It would have been fine. Okay, whatever. Cargo, new cargo temp. Cargo. Okay, so it's cargo add Tokyo. Why are you taking so long this time? That was weird. Cargo add sqlx. Cargo add dot env. Cargo add there. Okay, so before I do anything, I guess like maybe I connect to it first. I don't know. Let's find out. Oh, I need a .env file. You didn't spend much time on it. It would run, but it never found any queries to generate. Interesting. Well, let's see if we can get it working here. So I've got a connection to the database going. So it should be aware of things. We can just create some queries in here maybe to test it out. Let's see what the documentation. We have the CLI installed also. So yeah, let's see what the documentation says. Oh, I probably want to go to crates for this. Okay, enabling building an offline mode with query. And really all offline mode means is that you don't have access to a database and it won't yell at you. Or yeah, I think it just won't yell at you, or it will actually, it'll check the, I guess it'll statically check the queries still, but it won't be against a real database. It'll be against like a snapshot of what the database looks like. Okay, so step 1. Save query metadata for offline usage. Cargo sqlx repair. So I'm in the root of the project. We'll do cargo sqlx. Wait. Cargo sqlx prepare. I think although I should be able to do sqlx prepare. Oh, I wonder if it needs it to be part of that. I wonder if there's any difference between cargo sqlx and sqlx. What did you do? I see a .sqlx directory now. Which doesn't have anything in it. Okay. And then Saving query metadata must be done as cargo sqlx. Interesting. Or if we're using a workspace, we need to use dash dash workspace. Ah, interesting. Or I have to do it for each sub crate, I suppose. Check this directory into version control and an active database connection will no longer be needed to build your project. There is nothing in this directory. That hasn't done anything. Okay, do I have to do this? Cargo sqlx prepare dash dash check. So cargo sqlx prepare dash dash check. There is still nothing inside of sqlx. If I try to yep, there is nothing in here. Oh, wait, no, I have stuff in the database. It's the same result that you had. Response on CLI says no query is found. Interesting. The presence of a database URL environment variable will take precedence over the presence of a .sqlx, meaning sqlx will default to building against a database if it can. To make sure an accidentally present database URL environment variable or .env file does not result in cargo build trying to access the database, you can set the sqlx offline environment variable to true. Okay, so we can add this to our .env. So first of all, I do want to double check. So if I docker exec, I'm here in sqlx tutorial. We have games in here. Okay, so we're good to go. We have data in the database. So if we connect to main, we just do a quick query here. So let's say we have game ID. That's going to be a I32 and a name. It's going to be a string. Let's just do something simple like this. We're going to let games equals, I want to query as game, select star from games. Nice and simple, right? We'll do a fetch all. Database URL must be set, or cargo sqlx prepare must have been run, and .sqlx must exist to use query macros. Okay, so that kind of All right, so it knows we're in offline mode. So it's not allowed to connect to the database proper, but it's also not connecting to the database proper. Okay, so what can I do? Okay, so let's try running our cargo prepare again. Oh, would you look at that? Now I have a query in there. It's a JSON file. What are you? Okay, well, first of all, if I go to main, you're happy. You're not yelling at me. And we can go take a look what this JSON looks like. Database name, Postgres, query. Oh, weird. That's not at all what I expected it to do. This is the opposite of what I was expecting. That's exactly what I was thinking too, Dottie. Like, to me, if I want offline mode and I'm building something, I wanted it to like introspect the database and like create like, okay, well, here's like, we're going to mock the database out. But what they're not mocking the database out, they're mocking the queries out. Also, hello stacking. How are you doing today? So this is definitely not what I was expecting with. So I was expecting that you run sqlx prepare before you write the queries, and then that would allow you to write in offline mode, and everything would be fine. But this is the opposite. This is you write all your queries, and you still need to develop. You need to do active development with a database. But then once you don't need that, they're still grabbing the types from the database and saving the types, so still type checking. Yes, but it's not like it won't do anything unless I have queries. What would happen if I delete you? So if I delete this query, so I comment you out. I guess we'll just quit because I have that buffer open anyways. So do a cargo sqlx prepare again. No queries found. Oh, it deleted it. Okay, so it's a way to keep it up to date. It's definitely going to keep it up to date. All right, so I think based upon this, I think that we need to write an article for it because I think it's a little bit. I think that it's I don't know. This might be my brain. So correct me if like you all feel like differently about this. My brain is it's not really offline development of queries, it's offline development of literally everything else in the code. And the queries are online development only, as in you must have access to a database to write the queries. Okay, sqlx CLI has an offline mode that allows us to write our query. No, to write our code with while not connected to a database. Okay. Describe what offline mode is. Describe the limitations of offline mode. To answer if you still need a database when developing. I guess maybe it's just going to be use offline mode. So like use offline mode to compile a Rust program. Okay, so so let's say let's first start with before we begin, read about offline mode. I mean, do I even want to do that? I don't know. Like, I feel like it sets the wrong expectations. So maybe I just want to start with like let's just talk about it. So sqlx CLI has the ability to mock what the queries would return. Which allows our code to compile even if we don't have access to a database. Okay, so this what this doesn't mean. This means how do I want to word this? So I guess like this means what this means is that we still need a database when we're writing our queries, but we need a database. Okay, when we're writing our queries, but after turning on offline mode, we no longer need a database active to compile. Um, I guess like turning on offline mode. Before we can turn on offline mode, we need a program with a query. This can be like here is a very basic program with everything in main.rs. That includes a single query. Pupil, hello. How are you doing today? Does the type completes and error detection works well for pedantic and fast API in NeoVim Vim as good as in VS Code? Pedantic and fast API. I don't know if I know those two. So I've been using Helix here, which is obviously different. And it's using Rust Analyzer, which is the same as VS Code. So I would say just as good as VS Code. And I think most of them. Oh, it's Python frameworks. Oh, I don't know. I've not used Python frameworks. So I don't know if I can tell you. My guess is that most of the LSPs that you're using in NeoVim are probably going to be similar to the ones that you have in VS Code. So probably would be the same. But your mileage may vary. Obviously, I've never done it, so it's like, it's a guess. A good use case is to be able to build your application in CI without needing to spin up a database container like you're currently having to do, which is interesting. Yes, yeah, no, that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. And that is a good use case. Yeah. So maybe like let's add this. So describe why offline mode is useful. Because like I could imagine that somebody is going to see this and say like, well, if I still need a database when developing, what's the point of offline mode? But I think you're right, Dottie. I think it's CI/CD is like the big reason to do this. The other potential reason to do this is the dot trick. So if you go to GitHub and you press dot, it will launch VS Code in the browser and allow you to sort of like make any little changes. And I think you get Rust Analyzer in it. Maybe. We can test that. I don't think I have anything with I don't know what I have in there. Let's see. I have my LMS. That's like a bigger thing. What do I have? Oh, I have my full stack Rust course. That's like a smaller thing. What's like something small that I can like pull up? It's a very weird the repos it decides to pull up. This is not even all the repos. Can I just go to there and take a look? No, apparently not. Wait, how do I go to my, how do I go there? It used to let me actually go to the repo to look at the repositories in it. I feel like it's changed. They've changed quite a bit, like how this works. I'm not super happy about that. Um, show. Oh no, that just loads more. Well, that's not cool. Okay, so I'll just go to random one in here. I guess like here we can look at this assessment. So if I press dot, it opens up VS Code. Am I gonna get Rust Analyzer in here? I don't see Rust Analyzer running. Not available. Okay, so no. Then not all that helpful. Okay, so never mind. You tuned out for a second, but it sounds like you're missing the main reason someone would run this against prod and then commit it to GitHub. Then all the other devs no longer need a mock DB unless they're going to add a query. If they want to add or change a query, then they absolutely need a DB. And I guess it's like hard for me to believe that like you wouldn't need. I guess like there's some people that might not ever touch the database side of it. But like I'm really used to like smaller teams where it's like, okay, no. At some point in time, everybody's gonna touch like a query or maybe add a query or do something like that. Yes, that's if they're still allowed, but this will allow juniors. Yeah, that's true. That is true. But this wouldn't. Wait, would this actually get data back? Does this really mock the responses too? We should run this again. And I want to debug games. Okay, and let's cargo prepare. Oh, cargo sqlx prepare. Okay, so if I cargo run, they might not need small data to make a small change. Yeah, they might not. Okay, so that runs with that, but I want to make sure that it's running without the database. So let's stop the database. We're gonna do Docker Docker stop Postgres dev. No, that doesn't work. I was really hoping that was going to work and let you like run it. Oh, okay. So the problem here the problem is like, yes, you can basically make a small change, but you can't test your change without a connection to the database. So you can test your change in CI/CD, but if you're running like a backend with a front end, you can't like run the backend locally, and then and then and then see like, oh yeah, did everything work? It's like, no, that's not going to work. Would be an interesting concept, but what if collision occurs after you reconnect? Well, I think that's where the check comes in. Because what you can do is you can run the check command and it checks the well, actually not. I don't know. Hold on. Okay, so sqlx prepare is actually checking with the database. So it is making sure that everything's working. They should shove some data into JSON into that. I almost like I like the idea. I like where they're going with this. I think there's something here. What I am not convinced about, offline mode needs to hijack the pool connection so that wouldn't cause issues. Yeah, I think that's the next key is that if you're on offline mode, like they're getting dangerously close to just saying auto spin up for us behind the scenes a SQLite database and just use that. Like they're really close to just like having that behind the scenes and throwing a SQLite database in there and just having that be offline mode. So, who was it? Dottie, you were saying, yeah, okay. So the okay, so you were saying a good use case to build your application CI without needing to spin up a database container like you're having to do. But what we just found out is that you still need to spin up a database container just to run check, to verify like what Vamp here was suggesting that we need um what if there's a change? Like what if something changed in the database, like after migrations are run or something else? So you need the database to check that the offline mode is correct. Like it feels like the only use case for offline mode is the ability to compile. Wait, can I do that? I can still compile, right? Cargo build. Yes, okay, so I can build it, but I can't run it. CI only needs a build, it doesn't need a run. Okay, got it. And so if I removed that .env, I mean I can still build this too without that. So it's not. What's the point? What can I do with it? Like I'm trying to think about like real world. Like I know what I can do with it. Uh the question isn't like can I like do little code changes or something else. What I'm really asking here is what real life workplace scenario would this be helpful? Does this solve a real life workplace problem in its current form? I'm having a lot of trouble thinking of anything because when we have junior dev spins up the code base and makes a change, and as a lead or a senior dev or a teammate, I absolutely want them to run this locally before they deploy it or even like put it out there to run in to like test it. I want to like have them see that it's working locally. Yes, to build the artifact in CI, you would need the sqlx folder. Otherwise, you would have to spin up a DB and migrate just to build. But you can't do testing. Okay, so I can do. I think some applications you could do testing, right? Because some applications you're just going to do unit testing of the logic on the other side of the database. So it's not actually, you're not testing the database connections themselves. But in CI/CD, you can't do integration tests. So you can do edge testing. There's a command to prepare test queries too. But it won't, like, if I wanted to turn on, so I do a lot of web development. So like where I'm thinking of right now is a lot of web server type stuff. So I'm thinking web servers, I want to spin up the web server. I want to connect, and then I want to run my integration tests like Playwright that's going to hit the front end, which then hits the back end. And I want to see that it's working. But this wouldn't launch that without a database running. So I don't know if I want to create I don't actually know if I want to add a lesson for this. Um, yeah, it's more integration testing would typically expect services to also be running. Yeah, exactly. I don't yeah, so I think that's like because I mostly work on web dev, I'm too used to like needing a database just for anything. But if there's like a database where like let's say I'm running like a game service, like a game, and I have a database for storing like high scores, uh for doing multiplayer, things like that. but maybe that's behind a feature flag, or I want to test like single player, so I don't need the database running for that kind of thing. Maybe then I can go in offload mode for that. I'm going to throw this back into preparing because unfortunately I can't come up with a good reason for this. That sounds good. I'm a believer of like I want the lessons to at least like be like not too contrived. I know some of my stuff has been contrived, but like I don't want to like I feel like I'm just contriving stuff to force it. I'm gonna move it to planning, and we'll leave it there. Let's head in here. What do we got? So let's first of all let's remove the CRM stuff. All right. So we have Postgres database and Docker. So like running Postgres database. Set up Docker for taking the core sqlx, which I think is like the same thing pretty much. So let me. I'm not sure about those. SQL join queries. Well, that's definitely something that's going to be important. So let's start working on that. CD. Lord Gucifer, hello. Is this Tmux? No, this is Zellige. So the window manager that I'm using is called Zellige, Zellij. I can pull up. This is the URL for it. I like it a lot. It's still relatively new. Definitely a lot newer than Tmux. It's written in Rust. It's pretty fast. The features are a little bit pared down. Like there's a lot of things that like the community is still waiting for with Zellige that Tmux has that I think are like absolutely must-haves for like, using it absolutely everywhere. But for the most part, it works really well. And it has a feature which I don't really need to use, but is really cool, which is multiplayer mode. So you can have multiple people attach to the same session. And just like Google Docs, where you get like all the cursors, you can actually see them all moving around. But I, for some reason, I feel hesitant to let you all SSH into my box here and just go around for the fun of it. So yeah, maybe someday we can like spin up a VPS or something and play around with that. But yeah, it does look really cool. What's nice is that this is fairly I haven't done much in a way of configuration to get it looking like this. This is pretty like standard in the configuration space, which is really nice. All right, joins with sqlx. All right, so getting data from multiple tables and at the same time is a common feature. Sounds dangerous. Oh, like having multiple people come in. I mean, the idea is it's the person who made it is really big into pair programming. So the idea was that it wouldn't just be strangers coming in and sort of like hanging around. It would be more of, hey, let's like, we're all on the same team. Let's connect to the same session here and pair on it. And basically, the idea is that you're able to get the same features as like live share in VS Code, but now in your terminal. So if you have like NeoVim or Vim or Helix or something like that, suddenly now you can have multiple people hanging out with you working on like the same NeoVim, which is like that's a really cool idea. And it means that NeoVim doesn't need to integrate that feature anymore. Now it's just straight up in Zellage. I haven't used it yet though, because again, I'm solo. I guess I could force it. It's actually, we finished the other thing. We did something productive today. Let's take a quick little coding adventure and see if I can connect to that other. Let's do a brand new terminal window here. Let's see if I connect here and here. Can I Zellage? There's like ls. Okay, so I want to do Zellage attach Brooks builds. Yeah, okay, so notice this, purple instantaneously. So here, is it the same person? Or is it, oh yeah, my focus and pink, my focus and blue. So if I switch over to sqlx seeding over here, we can see that I'm on this tab, I'm on tab 2, but I can see that somebody else is over here in tab purple. Tmux allows reverse sessions, which allows the same thing. Oh, nice. Okay. Well, in that case, yeah, there's then you can do the same thing. So I could have, you're inside of this thing and I'm over here. And so like I could be doing stuff over here and then you're doing stuff over here and I'm seeing the cursors running around. So that's the idea. Ooh, I don't want to actually quit out of this. I want to disconnect from this session. Can I do that without causing problems? Also, when I full screened that, it didn't take the rest of, oh, that's not. Session, I think. Are you still alive? Yeah, you're still alive. Okay. So I was able to quit that session without killing it for everybody. Nice. Getting data from multiple tables at the same time is a common operation in with any SQL database. With any database. In this lesson, will be we'll be using a join table to get data from multiple tables in the same query. All right. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to okay, there's 15 of us here. How familiar are we with SQL? Like I just like I don't know, have you ever not done a join before? I figure like if nobody's done a join before and 15 people, then it's gonna be a a lot. I'm gonna have to explain it, or at least like link to and go find it. Or the three different types of joins. Are you talking about inner, outer, full? Yeah, I don't want to go through every time that I've ever seen somebody try to teach joins, it's they start with set theory. And I don't like that. I would probably make most like when I'm doing coding and that kind of stuff, well, especially if you're using like an ORM, kind of does it for you. Although it doesn't necessarily do it very efficiently. It's I think they're inner joins usually. I don't even necessarily know what's a good way to like I guess with this do we still have our database up? Oh no, I stopped it. Docker starts. Okay, so describe. Do I need to describe? So basically, my question is, do I need to describe what a join is? that's that's what my question is for this is. Like, is this more of a course on? Because I haven't really been going through and saying, hey, here's an introduction to SQL. This has so far been a here's how to use sqlx. Like I haven't done a lesson on like here's how to insert into a database. It's more like, hey, and now we write our query, insert into the database. And like, okay, yeah, somebody like it's pretty simple SQL, so like somebody will be able to figure it out pretty easily. Joins though is where people start getting lost if you don't know SQL at all. Okay, so maybe I don't even know if I need a describe. So it's like use sqlx to get data from multiple tables with a join. Like maybe it's gonna be that simple. Oh, and I can send them out. Prerequisites. It's a good idea. Let's see. This lesson assumes that you know what a join is and what a join table is and what a join like how and the basics non-bread hello. You think it is useful in the sense of getting data out from multiple tables, but you do not really have to explain the SQL. Okay, that's what I was thinking. This lesson assumes that you know what a join table is and the basics of using the join statement in a SQL command. Now we can send people out. Is there? I vaguely remember there is a SQL game that makes you practice joins. SQL game practice. SQL murder mystery. I think did we do this once? I think we did this once. We may have used this at our school. It's not really a tutorial. Okay. Try the walkthrough. Oh, select star SQL. Okay. An interactive book. Okay, so this chapter description is like very weird in my mind. So this is a SQL book that's supposed to teach you about SQL, and the description of chapter 1 is chapter 1 examines Napoleon Beasley's argument against capital punishment. We learn the structure of a SQL query and row operations on a table. On its own, those don't feel relevant or like they go together at all. Okay. They have this like, entire sort of like background on the case and what happened and all that stuff, and it's a very dark case. The very last paragraph is Napoleon Beasley made an impassioned last statement arguing that an eye for an eye does not constitute justice. Our task is to retrieve his statement from the database. Select star from executions, limit 3. This is very dark. I don't know if I like this. Like, it's cool. They have like it shows you and like teaches all this. This is great. Does it need to be something about like executing a minor? Find the first and last names and ages of inmates 25 or younger at time of execution. This is I don't like this. I don't want to send people to this. Okay, what's the walkthrough for this look like? A crime has taken place and the detective needs your help. The detective gave you the crime scene report, but you somehow lost it. You vaguely remember that the crime was a murder that occurred sometime on January 15th, 2018, and that it took place in Sequel City. Start by retrieving the corresponding crime scene. It's like this is not going to be a real crime. This is going to be like sort of like a fun book. It's like, to me, that's going to be nice, like a lot nicer than like looking up real historical data about children being executed on death row. Oh, and they start with like, what is a query? What elements does a SQL query have? Okay, so like, yeah, this is a very like a pretty basic introduction to SQL. It goes into aggregate functions, joining. Okay, so making connections. But again, I feel like there's probably going to be better. I don't necessarily want to send them all the way to joins and then they miss all the context to the previous stuff. So there might be better stuff. SQL practice games from a UK website. SQL Zoo. Okay, I think that might be one that I've heard of before. SQL Zoo. Tutorials, learn it. So like here, if we go to select basics, yeah, and you get to actually run it. And it gives you the answer. So if we go to joins, join. Okay, so we have 3 tables here. We have game, goal, and e-team. One, the first example shows the goal scored by a player with the last name Bender. The star says to list all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. Modify it to show the match ID and the player name for all goals scored by Germany. To identify German players, check for team ID equals GER. So, okay, yeah, they show. I'm kind of surprised they don't have like an example team ID GER in here. But okay. We're team. So yeah, if we just get this right now, okay, cool. So that shows that. Modify it to show the match ID and player name for all goals scored by Germany. To identify German players, check for team ID. Oh, and this is walking through. So to show the match ID, we're team like. So you want players like this. Oh, so I'm just like removing this. So like where. So the match ID. So do I just want the match ID? Match ID and player from goal where team ID is equal to GR. Cool. I got it. From the previous query, you can see that Lars Benders scored a goal in game 1012. Now we want to know what teams were playing in that match. Notice in the column match ID in the goal table corresponds to the ID column in the game table. You can look up information about game 1012 by finding that row in the game table. Okay, so now we're going, so show ID just for game 102, for one game where ID equals 1012. You can combine the 2 steps into a single query with a join. Okay, so the from clause says to merge data from the goal table with that from the game table. I thought that was the from clause says to merge data from the goal table with that from the game table. The on says how to. Yeah, join. Okay. So it's reading a little bit weirdly to me, but I think it will still make sense. The on says how to figure out which rows in game go with which roles in goal. The match ID from goal must match ID from the game. If we want to be more clear specific, we can say on game. Yeah. The code below shows the player from the goal and stadium name from the goal game table for every goal scored. Modify it to show the player, team ID, stadium, and M date for every German goal. So we have a player and stadium join goal, and I think like team ID. Where was that? Like team ID was part of goal. So this would then be, I can't use tab. Where now team ID, I don't remember if there's a team ID on both goal and game. No, it can't be on game, I don't think. So we'll do where I have to join. No, it's on goal. So we're team ID is equal to GR. So if I run that, okay, so we get you too few, yeah. Too few columns. Show player team ID and stadium and M date for every German goal. So team ID equals that, and then select, too few columns. That's what it is. Okay, so players, this is going to be player, team ID, stadium, and M date. Okay. Use the same join as the previous question. Show the team one. Okay, so now it's starting to get like, okay, you need to write this up yourself, which is nice. Okay. So it's like it's slowly introducing you into it. Now, okay, so I could be willing to send people to this. Old join tutorial. Okay, so that's that one. So I kind of like this. So the join operations. Let's send people to this. If you need to learn how to use joins in SQL, we recommend going through the SQL Zoo join lesson. And then I'm curious what that other one, because there's join and there's more join operations. Okay, we have movie, casting, and actor. So these are all just more more challenges. Nice. Okay. These aren't going through and suggesting that you learn, like they're not teaching you inner join or outer join or full join. Oh, that is definitely enough. Students should, under no circumstances, look at the next tutorial concerning outer joins. Okay, wait. Where is that? Oh, and self joins. I forgot about those. I don't think I've ever used have I used self joins? I have used self joins. I have. When I was creating, yeah, I did actually make students do self joins when I was teaching. Where is that? Do they have more stuff in here? Okay, so I see self joins. I did not see. Like there's, okay, here's like left join. Where is this going to? Okay, so like left join is going to a wiki page in SQL Zoo. The left join will include rows from the left table even when the linking value is null. And the left table in this case is like what you're selecting on. So you're selecting from games and then you're joining city. And then right join is the opposite, where it's the select joins, but you're starting from here essentially there, I think. They have a left and right join table. Null inner join, left join, right join. Okay, list the teachers who have null for their department. Why we cannot use equal. Wait, so because they don't have that. So list the teachers who have null for their department. Oh, so this is probably like building up to it again. So they would be like select star from, is it teachers? Teacher. Where is it dept is null. Too many columns. What did you want? Just teacher? Just name? Oh, that's what they wanted. Okay. Note the inner join misses the teachers with no department and the departments with no teacher. So select teacher.name, department.name from teacher, inner join department. Oh, right, because you're joining department, therefore it has to be there. That on teacher department ID. So like you have to have a department ID because of the join. Use a different join so that all teachers are listed. Is that right join or is it full join? I don't remember any. This is one of the ones like that you were saying is like, which one is it again? I also do this like so little often that I forget every time. So select name from teacher join. So I think it's a right join or full join. Right join. Dept, is it? Yeah, dept on dept dot ID is equal to teacher dot dept where dept is null. Oh, column name is ambiguous, so I have to, this is teacher.name. That's wrong. So it's not right join, it's full join. Unknown column, teacher.name in field list. Is it not? Yeah, teacher.name. Let's star that so I can actually see unknown column teacher.dept on class. Teacher dot. What is full? Okay. Select star from teacher full join dept on depth.id equals teacher.depth. It's like from teacher. Oh, but like because it's a full join, it's now like the special table that like has everything in it. Why doesn't that work? Okay, so that's where department is null. All right, what did I do wrong? Well, I wanted name and name. So I wanted essentially teacher dot name dept dot name. But of course it's saying unknown column teacher dot name. So from teacher. So it's not a full join, it's a right join. Right join dept on dept.id equals dept, where dept is null. I guess like it's so I have name as teacher as dept, so we can actually see what that is. That's showing the teacher name is null, but I wanted the other way. It's I don't think it's not left join. Oh, it is left join. Okay, keep everything from the left, and then only bring in things for the null. Like, yeah, I always get this confused. Oh, right, because it was inner join. There's inner, left, right, and I keep on forgetting inner join is a thing, and full. So there's what, 4 things? 4 different types of joins? That's fun. Oh, yeah. Okay. So yeah, we do a left join to keep everything from teacher, regardless if there's a null on this join or not. Use a different join so that all departments are listed. So I think that's gonna be a right join, right? So okay, so I think this could be good practice to send people to for the different types of joins. So we have, if you need to learn how to use joins in SQL, I recommend going through the SQL Zoo lesson for this. If you want practice with inner, outer, left, right, and full joins, go through, well, I guess like I recommend going through the SQL Zoo using null lesson. Okay. There we go. So we could basically say, okay, go do these things first, and then by the time you get here, you know joins, and you've been fresh through like inner, outer, and all that other fun stuff. But like, I don't even know. Like, I don't often use these unless it's like, oh yeah, I didn't get the information that I wanted. I guess I'll have to try one of the non-normal ones. I think default is inner join, right? I want to say so, but it's been long enough that I've forgotten. Okay, so use sqlx to get data from multiple tables with a join. Content. All right. let's start with a database that has 3 tables. So we'll do games. So this is going to be, okay, so games, we're going to start with, which I can actually just go find that, can't I? sqlx, migrations and seeds, and we'll just grab these. Okay, so we'll create those. And uh all right. We have also seeded this we have also seeded these tables with some games. Games and platforms. Maybe I'll do data. I guess I'll just do Markdown for this. Games. I think I want. Okay, so content, we start with that. So that's actually 3 for each of these. Oh, but maybe not. We're gonna say with like oh, this would be 3 table structure. So actually I want you to be one more. Then you will have 3. So data, we have views. Then this will be 1, 2, 3, 4 games. We throw you in here, and let's make this a real. Okay, so game ID, name, that. Okay. Okay, so we should be good to go there. You were smart. You renamed all your ID tables so you don't have to worry about explaining as keyword for the overlapping join table names. I wasn't even thinking about that at the time. I was just like, it was a recommendation. I was like, oh yeah, let's just do that. So I don't have to like, it just like makes it simpler to follow along in code. And it's like, well, actually, you know what? This kind of makes a lot of sense. And it kind of makes me wonder, like, should I just start using that as my IDs for everything in real life too? Because like this is kind of nice. Ooh, let's bring that back down to here. kind of want to pull you over one more. How did I lose? Wait, where did I get? I got all those in there. How did I lose the other things? Baldur's Gate 3, Valley. Okay, let's try this again. All right, much nicer. X search space that. Okay, so we're good to go. So we have that. Oh, it is 4:57. Time is flying. I need to go grab. I need to go grab dinner with my wife. So I think we're gonna keep it here. I'm going to continue working on. Well, actually, I'm probably not going to continue working on this weekend. There's some other things I need to work on over the weekend, so most likely we'll continue working on this on Monday. But I think that joins are the last big thing for us to work on before I like create a course. I like put it on there. We like review it really quickly, just make sure that it looks right, and then we're gonna figure out like the live course thing and how that goes, and then we'll start figuring out how I want to like have people go through like the first iteration of it. So we're getting really close to our first course run through. So that being all said, Sam Griffin is preparing for a React Summit talk. That might be fun to watch. Let me get through the advertisements, make sure that everything is still working as expected. But I think that we can probably raid CM Griffin. Okay, so yeah, CM Griffin's going through and creating an AST for I think he's giving a talk at the React Summit and sort of preparing for that talk. So yeah, let's go ahead and set up a raid for that for him. He's coming to New York to give the talk, so we'll be hanging out that weekend. Oh, really? Awesome. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun. All right. I hear him talking about botulism. So that's a cool topic we're going to raid into. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with me and dealing with the fun shenanigans of offline mode with sqlx, and then also like going through and looking at joins and all that fun stuff. I'll be back next week. I don't necessarily know what the schedule is going to be for sure, but it's probably going to be something similar to what I had this week. I will be figuring that out on Sunday, and then I'll tweet/Discord message that out sometime on Sunday afternoon for me. And then next week will be next week. So with that, have a great rest of your Fridays. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next time. Bye.